Hey, good morning, friends, and welcome to our Saturday Snapshot. It's been a few weeks since I've been able to sit down with you and just kind of introduce you to what's coming up for the week. And so I'm glad to be able to do that with you today. And hey, I just want to share with you real quickly some announcements that you hear this on the front end. Just want to remind you that we will have our Thanksgiving Eve service is coming Wednesday at 5:30. We're going to meet in the chapel, and then following the service, we'll have a dinner, a Thanksgiving meal over in the gathering place, depending on the number of folks that register. So don't forget, tomorrow is the last day that you can register. And based on the numbers right now, we may not actually be in the gathering place. We may be in rooms 111 and 112. But we'll see how that turns out following tomorrow's service. So I just want to encourage you, if you're planning on being with us for Thanksgiving Eve, please make sure that you register for dinner as well if you're going to stay and be a part of that. You'll also notice in the bulletin tomorrow, and I will, excuse me, I'm working on overcoming a cold here, I think. You'll notice tomorrow in the bulletin a listing of the times for our worship services in the month of December. You'll remember that we are, throughout the month of December, we're going to gather as one body, and the reason behind that is we start we start Advent on the first Sunday of the month, and so we will have our hanging of the green service, and then on the 10th we would have had two different services, which would have gotten a little bit confusing because on the 17th we come back together as one family as we celebrate. We kind of do that family Christmas time together. And so we'll have lunch on the 17th, and then we have Christmas Eve, and then New Year's Eve. And so we just thought it would be a whole lot easier and less confusing by just having one service during the month of December. And so you'll see that in your bulletin, and I will also provide a listing there in today's email that comes out to you. So I just wanted you to be aware of those kind of things. I think those are the announcements for us to be mindful of things that are going on here at the church. And I've just started this sermon series about the Palm Beach County needs to have healthy and vibrant United Methodist churches. And last week I talked about, just within a small block radius, we would need 40 United Methodist churches with an average worship attendance, of 500 to say that 4% of the population in Palm Beach County, in that small geographical region I was talking about, were being reached by the unique and powerful story of United Methodist. And so I thought this morning that I might spend just a few moments sharing with you what I mean by a healthy, vibrant United Methodist Church. And at the beginning of a healthy, vibrant United Methodist Church, when we think about why Palm Beach County needs a healthy, vibrant United Methodist Church, is because, and I'm stressing those words, healthy and vibrant, for a reason. That a healthy and vibrant church in general, but let's say a United Methodist Church, really understands that its priority is to help people grow, and it's not to have people, not to develop programs and various ways in which to attract people so they help the church grow. Our mission is always to help people grow into that Christ likeness, that to grow into the image of being a beloved son, a beloved daughter. And so that's one of the first hallmarks, is just that little bit of a change there, is we're not trying to attract people so that our church will grow. We're wanting to attract people because we want to help them become the beloved sons and daughters that God intends for them to be. And so, a healthy and vibrant United Methodist Church, just imagine this: 80% of that membership believes that they are given the privilege, right? So as you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're thinking to yourself that every Sunday you get the privilege of being able to possibly introduce a person for the very first time to a God who is for them. And as you go and introduce that person to a God who's for them, that person connects the dots and realizes, hey, this is a church that's for me, right? This is a church that believes in my potential. This is a church that believes in what I am meant to be in that process. And so when we think about what does it mean to be for someone, it means that we're seeking to bless them. We're seeking to show that we are in favor of them. It's saying that, hey, when we partner with you, we're like Aaron's and hers for you. If you remember the story of Moses when he got tired and overwhelmed by life, that Aaron and Hur came on either side, and they would hold up his arms so that he could continue to intercede on behalf of the people to God. Well, that's when we say that we are a church that's for our community. We are intentionally looking for ways in which we can come alongside and hold up the arms of people in our community. Not only that, when we say that we are for people, for the people in our community, we're saying when you partner with us, you have an advantage that you didn't realize that you had. It's kind of like saying, hey, with Christ all things are possible. We as a church, when we fully understand and relate to the fact that God is for us, we realize that we have an amazing advantage in the world. And so, all of that is possible when you are for people. You realize that you're kind of raising the standard of how you interact with people. You now see people as blessed. You see people as God's masterpieces. You see people as God's beloved sons and God's beloved daughters. And so you begin to interact with those folks in that way, even in those moments, even in those times when they may not be acting that way. So it gives you an opportunity to say, I'm for you. That's why I'm extending this grace. This is why I'm extending this forgiveness even more. And so this is possible because healthy, vibrant United Methodist churches keep their focus on the main thing. I think part of what I was at a meeting not too long ago where Bishop Berlin was speaking to us, and I was sharing with some folks that one of the things that's happened for us as United Methodists is we kind of got we took our eye off the ball. We stopped focusing on the main thing, and it's always it's simple, but it's easy for us to start to drift. But we got to keep. What I'm trying to do is invite us to get our eyes back on the main thing. Keep the main thing, the main thing, the main thing. Now, what would be interesting is if I were sitting down having a conversation with you, and I were to ask you, so what is the main thing? I wonder if we would all come up with the same verse. So I'm gonna tell you as the pastor of this church what the main thing is, so that we understand when I'm talking about, hey, we got to get focused on the main thing. You know where I'm coming from, and I've referred to it last week, but I'll say it again today. The main thing comes from probably one of the most well-known Bible verses in the world. And it's interesting that if you look at John 3:16, the very first word is for, right? So we read from right from the very beginning, for God, right? The main thing is that God has always been for you. God has always been for me. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. God is for us having life and living that life abundantly. In fact, when we go to the next verse, for God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world might have life, abundant life. That's the main thing. When we keep our focus on the main thing is, asking the question, how do I help people know that God is for them? When we are a healthy and vibrant United Methodist churches, we are actively seeking the opportunity. We're looking for the opportunity, believing that every Sunday God is sending someone to our church that may never have known how much they mattered to God. They may never have heard that God was for them. And you have the opportunity, you get the privilege of being able to go and introduce them to a God who is for them. That happened for me back in 1987. Roy Melberg took me and introduced me to God. And I learned in that moment, in that time, that God was for me, that God was for me before I ever knew who God was. God was for me even when I had rejected God. I'm asking you, who took you? Who introduced you to God? And then I'm encouraging you and even challenging you to say, who are you ready to take and introduce to God? Friends, I hope that as you go through the remainder of this day, you go and you think and reflect on this truth that God is for you. And a healthy, vibrant United Methodist Church is actively engaged in the community and telling the community, hey, God is for you. Let's get out of the business of telling people, what God is against. And let's spend the time talking about what God is for. Friends, have a great Saturday. I look forward to being with you tomorrow in worship. Have a great, great day, and be good.